I will end their life. I will destroy them all.
After watching this wicked, strange, and powerful tailor, you will not give your clothes to random tailors to sew for you, no matter how creative they are. There was a big town called Kokoba. Kokoba was rich, wide, and beautiful. It was bigger and better than many towns around it. People came to Kokoba to buy food, land, and animals. The market was always full and the roads were busy every day. But Kokoba had one big problem. There was no tailor in Kokoba who could sew well. The tailors in the town spoiled clothes. They cut materials wrongly. They joined sleeves badly. Some clothes were too tight while others were too loose. Many people cried after sewing clothes in Kokoba. Some even threw their clothes away in anger. Because of this, the people of Kokoba no longer trusted any tailor from their town. Anytime there was a wedding, festival, or burial, they had to travel far away to other towns just to sew fine clothes. This journey wasted time and money. It also brought pain to their hearts. Often people complained among themselves. Why is our town like this? How can a big town like Kokoba not have one good tailor? Are we cursed? One day a strange woman came to Kokoba. Her name was Tyara. Nobody knew where she came from. She rented a small shop at the edge of the market and wrote boldly, "Tyara Fashion House." When people saw it they laughed and shook their heads. Another tailor? Are you sure she can sew very well? We will not waste our cloth again. Because of their past experience nobody wanted to try her. Days passed and Tyara sat quietly in her shop, smiling and waiting. Until one woman made a decision. Her name was Kamada. Kamada stood in front of Tyara's shop, holding her fine cloth tightly. Her heart was beating fast as she stepped inside. As Kamada entered Tyara's tailoring shop, she felt a strange calm in her heart. The shop was neat and quiet. Clothes were well arranged and the floor was clean. Tyara looked up and smiled warmly. "Madam, you are welcome," Tyara said kindly. "What do you want me to sew for you?" Kamada sat down and described the style she wanted. She spoke slowly and clearly. She talked about the shape, the length, and how she wanted it to fit her body. Tyara listened carefully and nodded her head. "Madam," Tyara said with confidence, "I promise to give you the best." Kamada looked at her seriously. "Please make sure you do a good job," she said. "We have suffered too much in this town. We have lost hope in all our tailors." Tyara smiled again. "Trust me," she replied. After dropping the cloth, Kamada stepped out of the shop. Just then, a woman dressed in a very beautiful gown walked up to her. The cloth she wore was shining and her sewing looked perfect. "Madam," the woman said softly, "are you sure you know what you are doing?" Kamada looked surprised. "What do you mean by that?" she asked. The woman shook her head. "Go and collect your cloth back. No tailor in this town knows how to sew well." Kamada took a deep breath. "I understand your fear," she said. "But this woman just relocated here. She deserves a chance. We must test her first before making conclusions." The woman looked at her in silence as Kamada walked away, holding on to a small hope she refused to let die. After 2 days, Kamada returned to Tyara's shop. Her heart was beating fast as Tyara brought out the cloth and gave it to her. Kamada touched it and then wore it to test the fitting. She almost cried. The cloth was one of the best she had ever worn. Tyara had given her more than she expected. The cloth fitted her body perfectly. The design was beautiful and full of creativity. Every stitch was neat and clean. Kamada looked at herself again and again. "I can't believe my eyes," she said happily. "This cloth is very beautiful. I can't wait to show it off." Tyara smiled gently. "I am glad you like it," she said. To Kamada's greatest surprise, Tyara collected a very small amount of money from her. It was a huge discount. Kamada thanked her again and again before leaving the shop with joy in her heart. The next day Kamada wore the cloth to an occasion. As soon as she arrived, all eyes turned to her. People stopped talking and stared at her dress. The cloth was shining, creative, and different. There was something strange about it, something nobody could explain. People kept walking close to her looking at the cloth. "Who sewed this? Where did you get it from? This dress is too fine." 3 well-known rich women soon walked up to Kamada. Their names were Amari, Osamuni, and Asakari. They were famous for their husband's wealth and their flashy lifestyle. The 3 women were close friends. Amari was a successful businesswoman. Her husband was a rich importer and exporter who traveled to many countries and had opened a big business for her. Osamune was a manager in one of her rich husband's hotels. Asakari was a housewife married to a very rich medical doctor who owned many big hospitals. As they stood before Kamada, Osamune asked, "Where did you buy this cloth from?" Kamada smiled. "I didn't buy it. A tailor sewed it for me." Mari looked shocked. "You mean a tailor sewed this for you? I thought it was a foreign cloth." Asakari quickly asked, "Please, which town is the tailor?" Kamada answered calmly, "She is in this same town." "What?" the three women shouted together. They were surprised. They knew no tailor in their town could be half as creative as the person who sewed that cloth. Kamada then explained that the tailor had just newly relocated to Kakoba. Asakari nodded slowly. "Yes, I heard a new tailor came," she said. "But I was afraid to trust her with my cloth." The three rich women looked at each other. "We must try her," Amari said. "This work is too perfect." Other women at the occasion also kept asking Kamada about the cloth, one after the other. Even on her way home, more women stopped her to admire the dress and ask questions. Everyone was shocked when they heard who the tailor was. The name Taira began to move from mouth to mouth in Kakoba. That night, Kamada went home and slept. But her sleep was not peaceful. She had a terrible dream. In the dream she saw a frightening monster. The monster was tall and dark, and it was wearing the same cloth Taira sewed for her. Its eyes were red and its voice was deep and scary. The monster ran after her as she tried to escape. "I will destroy you," the monster shouted. Kamada screamed and woke up suddenly. Her body was shaking and sweat covered her face. Her head was pounding with a terrible headache. What kind of dream is this? She wondered in fear. She sat quietly on her bed trying to forget the dream, telling herself it was only a nightmare. Meanwhile, Taira's shop was no longer quiet. The next morning women flooded her shop. Those who attended the occasion and saw Kamada's cloth came with excitement. Other women who heard the story also came. They all carried their cloth materials, calling Taira's name with hope. Taira sewed beautiful clothes for them. Each design was different and special. The fittings were perfect like magic. The women could not believe their eyes. "This is too fine. How did you do this? I have never seen sewing like this before." In a short time, Taira became very popular. People from other towns heard about her and traveled far just to see her. Even people from other states came to Kakoba with their materials, begging her to sew for them. Anyone who received her service always went home smiling. They always got more than they expected. Joy filled their hearts and praise filled their mouths. But they did not know what was coming. They did not know the evil that was slowly following them, quietly waiting for the right time to strike. The three rich women, Amari, Osamune and Asakari soon wore the clothes Taira sewed for them. The dresses were stunning. Each cloth fitted perfectly and made them look more beautiful than ever. People praised them everywhere they went. "Taira is going to be our only tailor," Amari said happily. "She is the best of all," Osamune added. They were proud and satisfied. One evening, Asakari returned home from a very stressful family event. She was tired and weak. Without removing the cloth Taira sewed for her, she lay on her bed and slept off. That night she had a terrible dream. She saw a monster standing before her. The monster was wearing the same cloth she had on. In its hand was a long cane. The monster began to chase her. No matter how fast she ran, it caught up with her and started flogging her with the cane. Asakari screamed in pain. She woke up suddenly, breathing heavily. Her body was aching badly. She touched her back and arms, still shaking. It was just a dream, she told herself. But when she looked closely at her body, her heart almost stopped. There were cane marks all over her skin. Asakari screamed loudly. She was shocked and confused. Fear filled her heart. Later, when she told Amari and Osamune, they were shocked too. To her surprise, both of them had experienced similar dreams. Monsters wearing the same clothes Taira sewed for them had chased and beaten them in their sleep. Yet none of them understood why. Soon after, strange problems began to happen. Amari's business started failing without reason. Osamune began to face serious trouble at her hotel. Asakari's peaceful home turned into a place of constant worry. They knew something was wrong somewhere. But they did not know where it was coming from. As Tyara's fame grew, so did the problems of her customers. At first, nobody connected the troubles to her. Everyone was still praising her good work and kind heart. But slowly strange things began to happen. Some women started falling sick without reason after wearing the clothes she sewed. Others began to have bad dreams every night. In their dreams, they saw dark figures wearing the same clothes Tyara made for them. The figures chased them, shouted at them, and beat them with anger. Some customers woke up with scratches on their bodies. Others woke up weak and tired as if they had been beaten in real life. Many of them complained of strong headaches, chest pain, and fear they could not explain. Business owners began to lose money. Traders quarreled with customers. Families that were once peaceful started fighting every day. Some women lost love in their homes while others lost respect in public. Yet nobody suspected Tyara. She smiled gently and spoke softly. Sometimes she even sewed clothes for free. When people were sick or poor, she told them, "Don't worry, I will do it for you free of charge." People praised her even more. This woman has a good heart. She is kind and caring. She is a blessing to Kakoba. But those who wore the free clothes suffered the most. Their dreams became darker. Monsters flogged them. Voices threatened them. Some heard whispers calling their names at night. They woke up screaming, sweating, and shaking with fear. Still, no one understood the source of their pain. They did not know that Tyara was feeding her evil powers through the clothes. Each stitch carried darkness. Each design held a hidden curse. The clothes were beautiful on the outside but deadly on the inside. The people of Kakoba continued to smile and praise her. They did not know her true intention. They did not know that the evil tailor was slowly destroying their lives, one cloth at a time. One woman named Mariri, who was also a customer of Tyara, could no longer bear what she was passing through. Before Tyara came into her life, she was healthy and doing well. But now everything had changed. Mariri was always sick. One day it was her head, another day her chest, and sometimes her whole body felt weak. Her business also started failing. Money disappeared from her hands, debts increased, and nothing she did worked out well. At night she had terrible dreams that left her crying and shaking. Confused and tired, Mariri decided to visit a seer in a far village. When she got there, the seer looked at her quietly and asked her to sit down. The seer closed his eyes and began to speak. "My daughter," he said slowly, "the problem you are facing is not ordinary." Mariri began to cry. "Please help me. I am tired," she said. The seer then pointed at the cloth she was wearing. "That cloth on your body is evil," he said firmly. "The tailor who sewed it has placed her evil powers inside it." Mariri was shocked. "The tailor?" she asked. "You mean Tyara?" The seer nodded. "Yes. She is the reason for your sickness, your financial problems, and your suffering." Mariri's heart beat fast. The seer continued, "You are not the only one affected. Every customer of that evil tailor is suffering. Some are sick, some are poor, some are troubled in their homes, and some are being attacked in their dreams." Mariri covered her mouth in fear. "The beauty of the clothes is a lie," the seer said. "There is darkness inside them." Mariri left the seer's house shaking, her mind filled with fear and questions. At last she knew the truth, but how would she warn others before it was too late? Pensive face. Mariri listened carefully to the seer and then asked with fear in her voice, "What is the solution? How can we be free?" The seer took a deep breath and said, "There is only one solution. You must find the first customer of the evil tailor. The first cloth she sewed carries the strongest power. If that cloth is burned, the evil will return to her and all her customers will be saved. When that happens, she will confess." Mariri's heart raced. She left the seer's house and began to search everywhere in the town. She asked questions quietly. She moved from house to house, street to street. At first it was very difficult. Many people did not remember who first tried Tyara's work. Days passed and Mariri almost lost hope. Then one day, while passing through the market, she heard women talking about the first fine cloth that made Tyara famous. "Kamada was the first," one woman said. Mariri's heart jumped. She quickly found Kamada and told her everything. The sickness, the dreams, the seer's words, and the truth about Tyara. As Mariri spoke, Kamada became silent. Her eyes filled with fear. "I believe you," Kamada said softly. "I have also been having bad dreams and strange problems." Mariri then told her the solution. "We must burn the first cloth Tyara sewed for you. Kamada nodded. Though she was afraid, she agreed. That night they took the cloth to a quiet place and set it on fire. As the cloth burned, a strong wind blew. The fire rose high and strange sounds filled the air. At that same moment, Tyara screamed loudly in her shop. The evil power returned to her and struck her with pain. She fell down crying and shouting. The next day Tyara confessed everything in shame. She admitted that she used evil powers to possess the clothes and torment her customers. The people of Kakoba were shocked and angry. They chased Tyara out of the town, warning her never to return. After that day, all her customers were healed. The sickness stopped. The dreams ended. Businesses returned to normal. Peace came back to their homes. The whole town talked about what happened for many days. From then on, the tailors in Kakoba became serious. They traveled to other towns to learn how to sew well. With time, Kakoba began to have good and skilled tailors. And the town never forgot the lesson behind the evil power tailor.